Hi there, I'm James Preston for Kalkine Media. Australia has not experienced a recession in over 3 decades, making it one of the longest running periods of economic growth in the developed world. However, as the global economy continues to face uncertainty, some experts are beginning to question whether the country's streak of good fortune is coming to an end. One of the biggest concerns is the ongoing trade tensions between the United States and China, which are two of Australia's largest trading partners. These tensions have already had a negative impact on the Aussie economy, with exports to China in particular taking a hit. In addition, the country is also facing a slowdown in the housing market, which has been a major contributor to economic growth in the recent year. Speaking of the UK economy, at first glance the UK's cost of living crisis might look fairly mild compared to other countries. Its inflation rate was 10.7% in November 2022, in comparison to 12.6% in Italy, 16% in Poland, and over 20% in Hungary and Estonia. But the Bank of England expects a recession in the UK this year, which could well last until next year. This is due to the proportion of UK households that lack insulation against financial setbacks, which is unusually large for a wealthy economy. One pre-pandemic survey found that around 3 million people in the UK will fall into poverty if they were to miss a paycheck, with the country's high housing costs being a key source of vulnerability. The pandemic saw over 4 million households delve further into debt, with almost as many falling behind on repaying it. And recent jumps in energy and food bills will push many over the edge, especially if heating costs remain high when the present government cap on energy costs ends in April.
Right now, Kalkine is offering a 7-day free trial on its premium research reports. Get access to data-driven market insights combined with an in-depth analysis on financial markets across the globe. Don't miss it. Subscribe for the free trial now.
Meanwhile, UK governments have been raising taxes since 2010, and in real terms, typical UK household income was already 2% lower in 2018 than in 2007. However, at the same time, real incomes have further decreased over the past year since the UK's 10.7% inflation rise, as of November, has far exceeded the pay increases many employees have had to settle for in recent months. Back to Australia though, and the issue that could contribute to a recession is the level of household debt, which is currently at an all-time high. This has led to concerns that consumers may be less likely to spend money, which would slow down economic growth. Despite these concerns, there are also reasons to be optimistic about the Australian economy. For example, the country has a strong banking system, which could help to cushion the blow if a recession were to occur. Additionally, the government has been taking steps to boost economic growth, such as cutting taxes and increasing infrastructure spending. While it is impossible to predict the future with certainty, it is important to note that a recession is not a foregone conclusion. However, it is clear that the Australian economy is facing some significant challenges at present, and it will be important for policymakers to take action to address these issues. Australia has a good track record of economic growth, but the country is facing headwinds like trade tensions, a housing market slowdown, and high level of household debt. While it's impossible to predict the future, it's important for the government and policymakers to take all of these particular issues into account before making any policy decisions. Well, that's all for now, but leave your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and of course hit that bell icon for future notifications. I'm James Preston, reporting for Kalkine Media.